Hello and welcome back to Brian Lomax Movie Talk. Anyone who was just watching the last Hangout will realise that we kind of had some problems, and for some reason I got exorcised from my own channel like a demon. It was bizarre, but anyone who could have seen me would have seen me basically shouting at the screen and thinking that Lee and Peter were really just the rudest guys alive. But then I figured out, yes, they were just such jerks. But then I realised that actually they couldn't even hear or see me, so I will forgive them. Anyway, when we left off, certainly where I left off, when I had to no longer take part, we were talking about music in films, and I just wanted to mention because Luke had said it in the sidebar, basically, that just the song, the Bob Dylan song that was used at the beginning of Watchmen, I thought was fantastic. That's one of my favourite uses of music in films. But yeah, I wanted to come back basically because I didn't want to leave it how we left it, but I haven't got a clue what we're going to talk about. So Peter, if you've got any ideas beyond talking about how you clean your beard, I would gladly hear them.
Well, beard maintenance is very important. Let's not talk about my beard.
No, it's not.
It is funny. I'm about to do a Q&A, and a lot of every time I get at least 5 to 6 questions about do you shave your beard? Do you trim your beard? I'm a lot of beard questions. It's just I'm next time I ever do one, I gotta put a proviso and be okay, any questions?
No beard questions.
I was any questions? But let me tell you about my beard for 2 seconds, so you don't have to ask questions about it. But I get it. It's impressive. Not everyone has that. Here's an interesting thing. What's it called? They're doing reshoots for Star Wars Rogue One.
Okay.
And the basically what I was told was the executives kind of looked at it and were not happy with what they saw. And knowing that the director, I don't know if I think it was with CP. I was talking about this. The director of that is Gareth Edwards,
Godzilla guy, yeah.
Yeah, the guy, and see, he did Monsters first,
which is really good.
Which is a really good movie. I like Monsters a lot. And then because of Monsters, he got enough acclaim out of that, but it's really low budget, right? So it's and that was his personal,
very low budget.
So he got enough acclaim out of that to get Godzilla, and then he did Godzilla and got enough acclaim out of that to get Star Wars. And his next movie was slated to do was Godzilla 2. And he said publicly, I guess last week, after doing Star Wars, he's now pulled out of doing Godzilla 2 because he really would like to get back to making smaller films that are more personal. And so it's he did a small little personal film, and then he did a fairly big budget film, and then he did Star Wars. So it's you don't get much more bigger than Star Wars. And I don't know if he's not liking the pressure, or if he's just you know what, I'd much rather prefer making small movies than making these big things. But he's apparently pulling out of Godzilla 2 and just said, no, I'd rather make some personal films that are very, smaller budget. And and the nice thing is he has the name now to do that on some level.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just does that mean is he done probably making big films? And what does that mean for Rogue One, especially with the fact that they now want reshoots? Is that because of his directing, or is that because of something else that they want reshoots? So I don't know.
Yeah, I just think I think it's got to be the pressure on it. I mean, you look at what he's capable of doing on his own. I mean, with Monsters, the special effects for that film, he did himself.
Great. Yeah,
he did, literally the crew for that film was him with a camera and a sound guy.
Wow.
And because he had a background in special effects, so at his home he had his computer set up with the program that he used. So he literally shot that thing with just a sound guy, the same way I shot my Robin Hood film. Only he's a much better filmmaker and knows what he's doing. So he literally, he could see it all in his mind. He's got the capability of doing the special effects himself.
Yeah.
So that's literally what he did. So when you can produce a film like Monsters on nothing, yeah, then why would you want to do the Star Wars route, the Godzilla route, where you literally have a crew of hundreds of people who are all looking to you for direction, who are all looking to you to guide them on it? It's if you can cut out all those middlemen when making a film,
maybe just have a small team of like 5 people.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
It's one of the reasons like people have said like, hey, would you like to direct films? And I'm like, no. It's like I don't like telling people generally what to do. I'm like, I don't like being anyone's boss unless I know exactly what I'm doing. And even then, I still like people are like, what do you want me to do? It's like, okay, can you go do this? Like, I feel like I'm even if I know someone was getting paid, I still feel weird telling people what to do. And so like, and that's just me. So it's like, obviously, like certain people have no problem with it. Quentin Tarantino doesn't bother him one bit to be like, hey, listen, you do this, you're doing that, But for me, I would not like to be in charge. Now, a very small film with an intimate crew and cast, I could possibly, want to do that. But even then, I still don't think I'd want to be in charge, like telling people like actors do this and be like, be more of this. And I was like, what the freak do I know? So it's not a job I would want. Like executive producing, where you get to kind of chime in and be helpful, maybe it might be something like, it's like in that case, it's like where I'm not telling everyone what to do. I'm more making suggestions and trying to make helpful things for the rest of to make the movie better as best as it could be, it's like without me messing it up. But I like being a director, it's a huge thing. So to go from a movie like Monsters, where it's just you and a sound guy, and that sound guy, and you probably have a good dichotomy, to Godzilla, where it's massive, and then to Rogue One, where it's even like, I can't imagine how many people he's in charge of on a given day.
Yeah.
In Rogue One, so it's like I could see him going, man, that sound guy is looking pretty good right about now. It's like being in a jungle with a sound guy and 2 actors looks really, forget the this table. I brought sandwiches in my backpack, guys. Here you go. It's like, it's a lot easier. It seemed like, but you like directing people. So what are you thinking?
It is harder than I think a lot of people give it credit for, because the thing is, when you're on a film set, and I've been on quite a few film sets, everybody has got an opinion.
Yeah.
And it's like, even the people you're directing have an opinion. And quite rightly so with actors. You expect actors to have an opinion about the character they're playing. You want their input. If you've got half a brain about you as a director, you would want to take their input, because that's what they do. They're actors. But it's like when everyone from the best boy to the extra in the red wig hung at the back all have an opinion about what you're doing and where it should go. And ultimately the book stops with you. When you get a bad film, it's not that best boy who gets the blame. It's not that extra in the red wig that gets the blame. It's the director.
We were saying earlier about Blade Runner, and like the fact that they changed the film on him and made him add narration. So it's like, as far as anyone knows watching the film, that's what he wants, right?
Yeah, I mean, This is one of the things with Harrison Ford. You see, I like Harrison Ford, but from what I've seen of behind the scenes stuff, Harrison Ford is a really tenacious, strong-headed personality who really wants to put his stamp on his films, and he's not really a director's actor in that respect. Like if you ever watch the special features on the Firewall DVD, I think that's what it's called. He was in a film called Firewall.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah. You really get a sense of that. There are times when him and the director are speaking together, and you start to kind of go, you know what? I kind of get the feeling that Harrison Ford was directing this at times, and as a director, that is a really hard thing to keep hold of, to keep control of, to prevent is other people's opinions getting in your way, getting affecting your decisions, I guess. And I think a big film with so many people involved, it can so very quickly and so very easily get out of control for that very reason. So when you look at a film like a Quentin Tarantino film or a Christopher Nolan film, I think the reason directors like that are so celebrated is because no matter who they are working with, throughout their body of work, you do see that consistency of tone, of storytelling, of just the way they do things, even if they work with a different cinematographer. I mean, you look at Interstellar. This is the first time like that Christopher Nolan kind of worked without Wally Pfister as his director of photography. Another great director of photography, but it still has that Christopher Nolan feel. It's still, you could look at The Prestige or Inception and then look at Interstellar and you would still say, that's a Christopher Nolan film.
It's a Nolan film. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, but when you look at, a film by the director of Firewall, you don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head who directed
that. Yeah,
and there's a reason, and it's it's not that he made a bad film. He's obviously
he's a serviceable director, right?
I respect anyone who manages to get a film into theaters. As an aspiring director, that's the fact that they've done it. It has to say something, but that's the difference I feel between the directors that people celebrate and the ones that direct your average film at the box at the cinema. And it's because of that very reason. Because once people start putting their input in, giving you their opinions, where do you draw that line where you say, you know what, I'm directing this thing, shut up and back off? Or do you just let everyone's opinion run wild? Which is interesting.
I was watching a thing with I don't know. Have you seen Rope from Hitchcock?
Oh man, that's the one where they got the guys where they got a body in the
in the Chesterfield kind of in the coffee table.
Sorry, about 20 years ago. I can barely remember anything about it
because it's all done in
as one take.
It's done like it would have been done in one take if I swear
if he had enough film.
But he had to do it in 8-minute takes. Because that's all the film that would fit in the thing. So like they literally would plan out eight each 8-minute thing. And like if you screwed up, they were like, cut, okay, screw that, dump that, it's like we're gonna have to start from scratch and go ahead with the next take, like everyone back to places and stuff. And but he apparently like he knew this, like the set had to move, like it's all in one apartment. And the set had to move to fit the camera. And like I watched the behind the scenes stuff, and the camera is huge, like it's massive. And he's just like, but he understood exactly where the camera was, how big the camera was, and what he was looking at without ever once going over to the viewfinder of the camera. And so it's like,
yeah.
He knew when you had to move the fake walls to fit the camera into the scene so you could get this like, you know, and he like basically just didn't take anyone's opinion about anything. It's like you were told what to do by, like, you know, he'd give you direction and you did it. And if you disagreed with that, well, you could go find a different film to work on. Because he had, you know, it's like, he's like, I'm making this movie and this is, and it was like, we're doing this and this many takes, you know, it's like, and it's just like, there was no like suggesting to him like, hey, maybe we should try it. It's like, no, this is exactly what we're doing, you know. It's like,
yeah.
So it's interesting. One of the other things I think you should like about Harrison Ford that's interesting is I've heard that's at the same time, like, you know, it's like how he's very passionate about what he's doing, but on the flip end of that, if he doesn't get what he wants and he loses interest, he loses interest big time. And then it's just like, I'm here. What time is it? Okay, you got me for another 10 minutes, and let me know when you want me. And you know, and he comes and like gives his lines, and literally just like cut. Okay, I'm done. Thanks, and walks off. Like he literally, it's like if you don't get him passionate about what he's doing, he is so dish passionate about it. And it's just like, it's like you're getting the bare minimum of my attention. It's like the scene in The Social Network where the guy's like, do I have your full attention? And he's like, no, you have my bare minimum of attention. I'm doing this. It's like you literally have the least amount I can give you. And that's basically what Harrison Ford's kind of like. It's just like, no, I could be doing other things right now. So you have exactly the amount of attention I want you to have. But
it works for Blade Runner though, because it gave one of his best performances.
Yeah, because he wasn't happy to be there.
Yeah.
He gives a really, really good performance.
But the character needed that. The character needed that kind of dour. Yeah. I live in a really depressing world kind of feel to it. So the fact that he felt like that on set really added to the film.
Yeah, which, you know, that's also directing, knowing it's like, okay, he doesn't like it, so we'll just work it into the scene.
Let's use this.
We'll just use it. So, yeah, it's the same way, like, what's his name? Bale kept on getting a headache from the first Batman movie because of the cowl.
Yeah,
he's just like, screw it, use it. I'm just going to keep the cowl on because it's going to make me more angry, and I'll just use it in the film. And but yeah, it's funny that way. But yeah, it's directing to me, like it's a huge job, and so it's interesting that Disney has called everyone back for reshoots. I don't know what in particular they were reshooting, like if it's action or drama or whatever, but they called everyone back and stuff and said, we want reshoots. We're not happy with what we got. So that's it. It'll be interesting to see how Rogue One comes out. I'm still excited about it. It's still like what I saw in the trailer interested me and made me want to see the movie. I think it's cool seeing Donnie Yen in a Star Wars movie. That's like, it's nice to have a little bit of diversity in there and have a guy who can kick some ass.
Have you ever seen the? I've not seen any of them. I've seen a couple of scenes from them, but I saw a box set the other day, and I really want to get it. Have you seen any of the IP? Yep. Is it IP Man?
Ip Man.
Ip Man.
Yeah, he calls it Ip Man. Yeah. I've seen the first two. I haven't seen the third one yet. I own the first one. Donnie Yen's hands move so freaking fast that it's literally like, it's so funny because on Facebook last week they posted a thing that gave 12 film action stars and said pick 3 that are gonna save your life and protect you, and one of them was Bruce Lee, so it's like you're gonna pick Bruce Lee, of course, but there was like Wesley Snipes, Jason Statham, and one of them was Donnie Yen, and my wife immediately picked Donnie Yen as one of, like, she picked Bruce Lee and Donnie Yen and the guy from On Bok, Tony Jaa.
Oh, yes, Tony Jaa.
she's like, those three people, I like, it's like, forget Jason Statham, forget Wesley Snipes. It's like, forget Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's fun, but it's like, have you seen Donnie Yen?
Listen. I have a funny story actually about Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, because I'd seen loads of Jackie Chan films when I was growing up, and I really loved the guy. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I once got into an argument with someone at work because I said that Jackie Chan was better
than Bruce Lee.
Yeah, they're having a conversation that I kind of interrupted. They're saying who would be able to beat Bruce Lee, and I said Jackie Chan. And I got into, like, it was based purely on the fact that I actually didn't really know a right lot about Bruce Lee other than Enter the Dragon and a couple of his other American films where you see him kind of taking one guy on at a time, and it's basically just down to the way it's shot, which is really no reflection on Bruce Lee's skills, just on the way they make films. So if you compare like Bruce Lee in his American films with Jackie Chan in the films he does, then Jackie Chan's probably going to kick his ass. But then if you go on YouTube, which obviously again, I hold my hands up. I can even, like, the guy I had this argument with, his name was Andrew. He clearly knew what he was talking about, and I didn't. But I went onto YouTube and I looked up some stuff on Bruce Lee, and when I saw some of the stuff, I was like, "Oh crap."
Maybe I changed my mind.
I think maybe I saw this thing. There's a clip on YouTube of Bruce Lee playing table tennis.
Yeah, with nunchucks.
But not just against one person.
Yeah.
He's literally playing against two people, a game of table tennis, and he's hitting that tiny little ball with
round nunchuck.
And beating both of these guys. So I literally see this and instantly I go, "No, he's better than Jackie Chan."
It's so funny because Jackie Chan based his whole style against Bruce Lee's style, because he immediately realized when he saw Bruce, because he was raised in the opera, and so it's like, if you ask who's a better actor, Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan is a better actor. Like it's hands down, he's a better actor. He actually has some acting chops when he wants to. But it's like he was raised in the opera and like in the Chinese opera, and so it's like when he went to be an action star, and he realized there is no way I can compete with that, and he's like, he goes, what can I do? And he's like, my shtick will be, I'm the guy who's always trying to avoid the fight, but in avoiding the fight, I'll be the guy who's beating up the other guys, like, jumping through ladders and doing, and it's like punching guys. But so like the whole thing where he punches a guy and he's like, it hurts his hand. It's like, he's like, that's my shtick. He goes, because if I'm going to try and compete with Bruce Lee, he's like, there's no way I can compete with that. He's like, forget it. He goes, I won't make a mark. I'll just be, because there's like thousands of guys in Asian cinema that didn't do anything because they tried to compete with him. And it was just
it was that injection of comedy that he did. And like,
that's
Jackie
my thing.
Chan, he never uses weapons.
Or traditional weapons.
like he won't touch a gun unless it's to, kind of unarm someone and like, take the clip out and stuff. So he always uses like just objects around him to defend himself, and he injects the comedy in it, and that's what I love about Jackie Chan. He's not quite as straight laced as Bruce Lee was. Bruce Lee, it was literally about, all right, let's fight. So for his films anyway. But
on this list of 12 people was Jackie Chan as one of the people, and like people started arguing with my wife, saying they would pick Jackie Chan over Like my wife was literally like, and I saw the list before I saw that I picked the exact same 3 people she picked. I was like, yeah, I'll take the guy from Protector. I'll take Tony Jaa because he's insane. And he can do things with knees and elbows that no one else does. And I'm like, and then I'll pick Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is like, he's got acting chops. Like he can actually act, but he moves his hands so fast that it's just like, it's hard to see them. And Ip Man is the story of Bruce Lee's teacher. Like Ip Man is based on a real guy. That was Bruce Lee's first martial arts teacher. So he's very talented. I've seen the first 2 ones. I haven't seen the 3rd one yet. I want to.
Have you read Luke's comments in the sidebar?
No, I didn't know we were being watched. Are we being watched? Oh, we were being watched again. Okay, look at that.
Sorry, Brian. Hate to be that guy. The table tennis video was fake.
You're just killing him.
you literally just like shattered my just shattered all my belief systems. All of them.
There you go. I would still pick Bruce Lee over Jackie Chan any day of the week in a fight.
Yeah. Based on some of the stuff I've seen, yeah, definitely. Can I just ask a favor from those that are actually watching? It apparently says that 5 people are watching. I keep on getting this one person who never never reveals themselves. Literally one person just comes on my videos, hits that dislike, and then does one. Like I've got a feeling that I know the reason why this is. But just as a favor to me, if you're watching this, if you're in the sidebar right now,
just tell.
Please. It doesn't take 2 seconds. Click the thumbs up. Do me a favor and just click that thumbs up. I don't usually like asking for this kind of thing because I prefer to let people decide themselves. But just to counteract this idiot who keeps on doing this, please, if you like me, if you like Peter, do us a favor and just click that thumbs up.
If you are that idiot, that is what.
If you are that idiot,
tell us. Let us know what we did to offend you.
Yeah. I've got no problem with people telling me they don't like what I do. I don't have a problem with that. I sent CB my film for him to review, and he told me a lot of the stuff he doesn't like about it.
Yeah.
And I've got no problem with him doing that because I like that honesty. I like someone being honest with me. But we just got another dislike. There we go. It's just, to me, that's just cowardice, you know.
That's okay.
It's just like balls to say to my face that you're the one who dislikes what I do. Yeah, on YouTube.
On YouTube, dude, I can't even get to you. I'm bigger than all of you, but I can't. Get to you.
You want to hide behind your little dislike button? Fine, whatever. But,
we got another dislike. That's 3. Everyone's gonna hit the dislike
coming. Right, keep it coming. Come on, bring it. Let's forget the like button. Let's see if we can get that dislike.
How many dislikes can we get? If I get 5, I will be happy.
Come on, yeah. Log into all your fake profiles and keep just throwing those dislikes at us.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love it.
Someone keeps on disliking. Like I get 1 dislike on videos, like certain videos of mine. Someone went back, I don't know when, but literally it's in 1 week and disliked a whole bunch of my videos. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, wow, they clicked on them just to dislike them. Okay, that's cool. I'm sad I pissed you off that much, but kind of happy that I pissed you off that much. It's just that you literally were like, I'm going to go dislike all his videos. It's like, okay. That's cool. Don't worry about it.
It's a sad existence, isn't it? It's a sad existence.
Well, I make my living off this YouTube channel.
We got another one.
Yes. This is my living. We're talking. No, it's not. Just kidding. For Luke, I once had 15 dislikes and 7 views within the first 5 minutes of the video. That's okay. I'm fine with the dislikes. It makes me laugh, but it's a little sad. But everyone needs a hobby, I guess.
Yeah, it's very sad. I just my thing is, I really don't mind when people tell me that they don't like something.
Oh yeah,
that
I
I
don't
do.
mind when people tell me I'm shite. It
Yeah.
doesn't bother me.
It's just
It's
yeah.
okay. Oh, we lost the
Yeah.
1-6 watching now.
So I'll go up to 7 again when they sign into their other account. Anyway, films. Should we talk
Do
about
you want
films?
us to talk about anything film related in the chat there? And we will. There you go. You can have me for
Yeah.
another half an hour or so, and then we'll leave you be.
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
I'll just say this for Luke's benefit, since he is watching. He'll like this. My daughter is having her 12th birthday party next week, and she has given the kids that are coming just for the party are given 2 options to watch a movie. They're given The Secret World of Arietti and Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro. Those are their options. And the kids that are sleeping over have 2 options. And these are my daughters picking this, not me. There's my daughter picking it. And the option for the sleepover is you either have to watch Dracula from 1931 or Jaws. And again, my daughter picked these, not me. So, it's one of those things where it's like, how many 12-year-old girls are like, you have a choice of watching Dracula from 1931 with Boris Karloff or Jaws. So, I'm just saying my kids are awesome. That's all I'm saying.
Bela Lugosi, isn't it?
Yeah, Bela Lugosi. What did I say?
You said Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff. Sorry. No, that's Frankenstein. Sorry. Bela Lugosi. You're right. I am wrong. Yeah. I'm bad with names now, though.
No, it's okay.
After my shocking, I am totally bad with names, and it sucks in every way possible. All right.
I just wanted to show that I knew about Dracula 1931. So, but yes. What do you think about the idea of them rebooting all the Universal horror films? Because they've got Tom Cruise, haven't they? Doing is it The Mummy? He's doing The Mummy.
Oh, really? Tom Cruise is doing The Mummy?
Yeah. Have you not seen the set photos from it?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. Well, I think the Dracula. What is it called? Is that just like either last year or the year before? Dracula Untold.
Which is funny because I have a big poster of this in my bedroom, and I still couldn't remember the name. I got it from a movie theater, and my wife likes the poster, and she kind of has a crush on Luke Evans.
Luke, yeah. Well, it's just that was supposed to be
the start of the thing, right?
Yeah, the start of a new shared universe and that.
Now,
because everybody's got
Frankenstein supposed to be part of that too, or was it Victor Frankenstein supposed to be part of that?
No, neither one of those was supposed to be part of that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think just based on the reception of Dracula Untold, I think they've kind of
scrapped it.
Yeah, but I think they're still trying to get it going, and they're going to try and do it with this Tom Cruise Mummy film.
Everyone wants everyone wants a franchise shared universe now. That's the thing. Everyone wants one.
Well, it's investing people, isn't it? If you get people invested in a core group of characters, then they're forced to kind of go and watch all of the films rather than just a select few.
It's the same reason that I'm like, although I understand that Batman v Superman and Civil War are 2 superhero films going against each other. One is the second film of a series, and one is the 14th film of a series. And it's like, wait a minute, does that really seem fair to compare them on equal footing when one is the 14th one in the series that already has like 13 other films to back it up, and one isn't? And it's like, I understand, yes, they're all the things, but I'm just like, on that basis alone, it's just a little unfair to go there. It's still, they're going to get compared no matter what. But it's just, but everyone wants a franchise. That's the thing.
Dylan says he wants a Loch Ness Monster movie.
James McAvoy plays the Loch Ness Monster. I'd be down with that. I'd be totally down for that.
As long as it doesn't star Ted Danson, we'll be all right.
No. I love the Universal Monster movie. Like, I own the set of like the 8 original monster movies on Blu-ray. really nice set on Blu-ray. And it's like I love the originals, like Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Visible Man. Like they're great films and stuff. But even though they're the monster movies, the Universal monster, they never connected them. They never thought to connect them back then. So it was like,
well, they connected them later when they did all the versus movies.
Yeah,
like Wolfman versus what was it? Was it Frankenstein versus Wolfman? I think they did.
Yeah, something like that.
So there was a germ there of an idea that kind of didn't really. I guess back then it wasn't really high on their agenda, but like now, I think they try too hard to do it these days, and that's the problem. Is when you try and force the issue, then it becomes a little bit, just you feel it. You can see all the ways they're trying to manipulate you, and I don't think anybody likes that.
So Luke was talking about, he just watched The Untouchables and wants to know what we thought about it. With Sean Connery, I'm assuming that one, Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I remember seeing The Untouchables when I was about 17, and it blew me away at that age. I thought, wow, this is one, it's incredibly violent, but I liked the characters. I liked that core group, the actual Untouchables.
Yeah, the Untouchables.
And that was when Kevin Costner's career he was at the peak of his career at that point. And obviously De Niro did a pretty good performance in it.
Yeah, it was great. Connery, I believe that's what Connery won his Oscar for.
Yeah, I think so. Best supporting actor, wasn't it?
And he was great in that. He was literally great.
Yeah. But I saw it again. Well, I saw about half of it again a couple of years ago, and for me it didn't really hold up.
Really?
It felt a bit dated. I wouldn't say it was a bad film. I'd still say it was a good film, but it just didn't quite have the impact that it once had on me when I was a lot younger. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. I think.
I watched it a couple of years ago. I still like it a lot. I don't know if I could grade it properly because I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but at least like the minimum I'd give it is 8 or 4 out of 10 or 4 to 5. Because it's just I like the performances, I like the story overall. But if I watched it again, I'd be able to give it a proper grade. It's actually on my list to watch. So sooner or later I'll get around. I own it on Blu-ray. I bought it on Blu-ray and haven't watched it yet. So, but no, I liked it. I liked it a lot. My favorite scene is when they take the dead guy and put him up against the wall and start interrogating him to scare the bookkeeper. And he shoots him, and it's just like, holy crap! It's like, meanwhile the guy's dead. It's like, so. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. I thought it was good.
Dylan says, any excitement for the BFG?
None. What's
yes
for me?
For me, there is. Yeah, I really liked. I know you didn't like it as much. But I really liked a lot the Bridge of Spies.
I liked it. I just thought it was slow and like a little boring in parts.
I was really engaged by the characters, and the BFG it's not one of that. Like, I have memories of it from when I was a child. We've read it in school and whatnot. It's one of those first kind of books that they drill into you when you're kids. But I don't have like that, the BFG. Yeah. I love that story. I have to see this film.
It's Spielberg, right?
That's it. You put Spielberg in the director's chair, then I'm going to be, at the very least, I'm going to be intrigued.
See, I'm much more just like desperately waiting for him to finish Ready Player One. Which is the last book I remember reading fully, and I loved it and want to read it again, which doesn't ever happen with me, or very rarely. And I'm probably going to try and read it again before the movie comes out. But yeah, I saw the BFG trailer. It looks sweet. It looks okay. It didn't do anything for me that I was just like, wow, I got to see that. No, it's just it looks okay. And that's the problem. Like my thing with Spielberg, I hold him such a high standard that when things just look okay, it's like I never look at a Nolan film and go, wow, that just looks okay.
Yeah.
It's like and like that, there's like the debate, like the one had one guy talking about the debate, and it's like Nolan isn't as good as Spielberg, and I'm like, and of course what he quoted was a lot of, he's like, look at all these films, and he quoted all these films from years ago, it's like, and I'm like, okay, let's compare filmographies for the last 7 films they've each made.
Yeah.
And over the last 7 films, Nolan's filmography is way more impressive than Spielberg's is.
Yeah. And people also say that like Nolan stays within his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But look at the films he's done.
His wheelhouse happens to be really good movies.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's like, okay, so he's not done a comedy, but
yeah.
He's done a period drama,
like
a proper period drama with The Prestige.
Prestige.
He's about to do a war movie. He's done an out-and-out sci-fi film with Interstellar and Inception.
He's done a space journey, and he's done
superhero movies.
Yeah.
He's done a serial killer flick.
He's done crime,
like a thriller, cop thriller thing.
Yeah, crime films like Dark Knight is at its core a crime film.
Yeah, he's just because his voice comes through those films all the time. Yeah, you kind of get that Christopher Nolan vibe off it. But they are all different films. And even in with his Batman trilogy.
They're different films.
Even there, you've got 3 different films. You've got like Batman Begins, which is like a genuine superhero kind of film, like an origin story. You've got one that's like almost like a Godfather crime drama.
Yeah.
And then like Dark Knight Rises is almost like it veers over to what you would expect more from a comic book film, because the villains in it are so like over the top. Like Bane is like really over the top. But yeah, I just to say that he only sticks to one kind of movie, and we've got a war film coming soon.
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah, I didn't even click. It said here pictures of his latest war film, and I was like, I don't even want to see the pictures. I just want to see the movie.
Yeah,
and so it's like Spielberg. I love Spielberg. Like Jaws is one of my favorite movies ever, and like he's made some of the best movies ever.
Mm.
And so like I don't talk, and that's part of the problem for me is when I see BFG, I see Bridge of Spies, which I like Bridge of Spies. I thought it was very well made, but it didn't blow me away in any way. BFG looks like a fun family film. It doesn't look like it's going to blow me away. Like even E.T. like was awesome. Right, like it's like he makes like he's made such high quality films that when he makes just okay films, to me it's just like, you're Spielberg. I think you should probably be a bit more selective in what you're making. But it's just the way it is. Let's see, Luke says, I have so much faith in Nolan. I didn't watch anything for Interstellar's promotion and was blown away in the cinema because it was all fresh. I have I tried to avoid as much as I could. I have so much faith in Nolan in every aspect of filmmaking. So even in casting, like I questioned him so many times when I was like, Heath Ledger is the Joker. It's like, Christian Bale is Batman.
Yeah.
It's like, because I hadn't seen Equilibrium at the time, and I was just like, really, that guy is Batman? And then I saw it, and I was like, okay. But after the Dark Knight, I'm on record as saying that, like, I trust the man so much that if he'd showed up to my house with Robin tights and said, Peter Purcell, you are the one I've selected to play Robin. I don't act. I don't know how to act, But if you're telling me that I'm the right person, I'll just go with it because you're Christopher Nolan, and I'll believe you at this point.
There was a point where like I'd liked like I loved Memento. Okay.
Yeah,
I really liked Insomnia. I think it's an underrated film.
I agree.
Then Batman Begins comes out. It's like literally, as a Batman fan, it was the film I'd wanted.
You've been waiting for your whole life.
Literally, okay. And then he does The Prestige.
Yep.
I'm thinking, right, is something different here? He's only done like 3 big films, Following as well, if you want to count that.
Yep.
But I hadn't seen Following at that point.
Yeah, neither had I.
So he does The Prestige, you know, and like I was nervous before Batman Begins came out. I was nervous before seeing The Prestige. I was like, oh, what if this is the one where he doesn't quite get it? I was nervous before The Dark Knight hit theaters because, like, what? Heath Ledger as the Joker? You must be kidding me.
Yeah,
what's with the scars on his face? Why is he wearing makeup? Where's the acid scarred Joker? So literally, like nearly every film that he was bringing out, I was like, no, right. After The Dark Knight, since The Dark Knight, I have not been nervous about a single Nolan film that comes out. I have that much faith in him as a filmmaker right now. It's just like literally, I've every film since The Dark Knight, actually every film since Batman Begins that he has done, I have given a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay, like the only. I'd give Memento a 9. I'd give Insomnia an 8, and I'd give Following a 7. Now I think Following is his weakest film.
Well, Following made on a shoestring budget,
exactly.
and it was made on weekends with his friends, and people weren't even knowing they were in films.
over the course of a year, like it's like when you put it into the context.
Yeah, it's amazing
Following
what he did.
It's staggering what he did just on that, and it shows like his vision as a filmmaker, the fact that he's that tenacious, he can get it done. And yes, Luke, I did give The Dark Knight Rises a 10 out of 10.
I also gave Dark Knight Rises a 5 beards out of 5 because it
was
not perfect. It was but man,
it was my favorite film of the year. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I love all the themes in it. It's just absolutely brimming.
I really enjoyed. I really also enjoyed Bane. I did. I just really did. I thought Tom Hardy did a great job.
I loved Bane. Absolutely loved Bane.
I love what he did to Bruce, like to Batman and stuff. So it's like to me, people came. I was shocked when people started complaining, and I'm like, what? It's like, why doesn't people love this movie? And then Interstellar, of course, everyone. I don't understand it. And I'm like, I'm not that smart a guy, and I fully got it. It's like, or at least I got it, or either I didn't understand it enough that I understood that I liked it. So,
no, I love The Dark Knight Rises. I thought it's fantastic.
It's
like this. Some of the criticisms I hear for it are just like again. It's like people seem to get the knives out at times in a way that I just don't understand, and I think it's often.
I think it's just too much success.
Yeah, it is. It's just you get too much success, so people just get the knives out, and they have to pick holes, because if you can pick holes in something that is very highly regarded, then it makes you. It puts you on an intellectual higher ground. I think that's the way some people feel deep down, which is that actually everyone loves this. They think it's perfect. But what about all these flaws? And, aren't I now so superior? And it just, whatever. Bane to me was the better villain for Batman in that trilogy, even if Joker was a better performance.
Absolutely, by the way, just to tell you.
Yeah, that's.
Anyone's like, Brian's reading there.
I'll say this: Bane is one of my favorite villains from the comic books. I got into the Batman comic books during the big Bane storyline, the Nightfall storyline. Bane was absolutely pooed upon for the Joel Schumacher Batman Robin film.
Freaking bomb. That's all you can say. It just killed me.
Man, literally. And so when we got Tom Hardy's Bane, that to me was, again, like with the Joker, very much changed from his comic book counterpart, but just in essence, it was everything that I wanted Bane to be. It had the essence of Bane as a character from the comic books. He didn't have the venom, he didn't have the drugs going into the back of his head, but again, like the Joker, you look at the Joker, that's not the Joker from the comic books. On the surface, his complete origin is totally different, but the essence of that character is so spot on. Just this absolute anarchist who doesn't care whether he lives or dies, doesn't care about anyone else. All he cares about is his little fun games with him and Batman. That's the only thing that gives his life any kind of meaning. In a really twisted way. So yeah, I kind of, it's really hard to agree with that statement from Luke, but I do kind of agree with it. Bane, in many ways, is the better villain, and in many other ways, he's not. So I'd probably put him on a par with the Joker, to be honest. I really liked him as a fan of the comic book character. And just of that film, I thought it was fantastic. Luke says, I was the same as Peter, so confused when people started moaning about Dark Knight Rises. So, Luke, what would you give Dark Knight Rises out of 10? Oh, you said it's in your top 10 of all time. All right, excellent. Because when you questioned whether or not, when you questioned my giving it a 10 out of 10, I thought you were saying that, because there you put holy moly. And yeah, I didn't think you agreed, but obviously you do. But yeah, I'm on that page. I am definitely on the Dark Knight Rises gravy train. It is my favorite trilogy. It's they're my favorite movies. I can't decide between the three of them, which is why they sit at my number 1, 2, and 3 spot in my top 100, my top 10 films of all time. Yeah, love them. Absolutely love them. Yeah, I was surprised because I don't know anyone who rates Rises as highly as me. Well, you've just met him. Like I say,
yeah,
they're in my top 3 films. Yeah,
I actually prefer it better than The Dark Knight. I'm not saying it is a better film than The Dark Knight. I just prefer it better than The Dark Knight. I love the Bane story. I love the whole, having to overcome your, being broken and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. The movie, I don't know. It works for me on a lot of levels. So yeah. So sorry, I had to take a phone call there for a second.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Who's calling?
But there you go. I think it's getting very late here, so I think I'm going to go. But before we go, let's do our Mount Rushmore of directors. This is something they did on AMC Movie Talk when it was still called AMC Movie Talk before it became Collider. They did this thing where they did the Mount Rushmore, and they put so you got 4 heads that you can stick on Mount Rushmore. Which are the 4 directors that you're going to put on your Mount Rushmore?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Oh, frick. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go Nolan, and people will criticize me for that. I'm going to go Tarantino. Those are the 2 modern ones I would go.
Okay.
I would go Akira Kurosawa. Would be up there. And probably Alfred Hitchcock. He should be up there. Like Spielberg would be a close, and stuff like that, and so would Miyazaki and stuff like that. But probably being forced to pick 4, probably Hitchcock, Kurosawa, Nolan, and Tarantino.
Okay,
Let the hate
mine.
begin.
Mine would be Nolan. Nolan would be on my Mount Rushmore, definitely. There's literally about 6 of his films are in my my top 20 films of all time. How could I not put him on my Mount Rushmore? I would put Spielberg on, just because when you look at the longevity of his career, at when he's at his best, he's very hard to beat.
Yeah.
I would put. See, I wasn't even thinking about Kurosawa, but now that you've said Kurosawa,
he's hard. Like, it's so easy to be like, oh, this and this, and like, but if you think of actual cinema, it's like, man, he's hard not to put on that list.
I've only seen 5 of his films, but when you look at the impact he's had, not just on Japanese cinema but Western cinema.
Oh yeah.
We've got the Magnificent Seven coming out, the new Denzel Washington one. We wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the Seven Samurai.
Well, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have C-3PO and R2-D2 if it wasn't for Hidden Fortress. You look at you wouldn't have there's so many. You wouldn't have A Fistful of Dollars if it wasn't for Like, there's so many things that the man is being responsible for inspiring.
Definitely.
And he's a great filmmaker to boot. So it's just like, oh.
And even before you said it, Hitchcock was going to be on my list. He was going to be on my Rushmore because, again,
what he's done.
Blimey, look at the influence of Hitchcock. You feel Hitchcock in so many different films. I mean, there's even, how many times do you hear the phrase Hitchcockian?
Yeah.
It's like that term has been coined because, it's the easiest way to say what something is like. His style, his voice was so prominent in his films that now you just simply say something's Hitchcockian, you know exactly what you mean.
Anytime there's a really, really well suspense-filled scene, it's like, Hitchcock.
Definitely. So for me, Alfred Hitchcock, Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, and if I want to go back even further, because let's say Hitchcock, you're looking at 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
And Spielberg, you've got 70s, 80s to modern day.
Yeah.
Nolan, you've got like kind of modern day, like last 20 years, last 15 years or so. So let's go back even further. If I want to cover the age of cinema, so to speak, I think I would throw also Frank Capra on there because he was making films in the 20s.
I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough of his films, to be honest. Same with Lee or Lee. Sorry, Luke, dude. Luke puts Fritz Lang. I'll be honest, I haven't seen that many Fritz Lang films, so I couldn't possibly put him on my list because I don't know him, and I probably know his influence more than I know him. So it's like Hitchcock. Like you can say it's like, oh yeah, it's like what about this and what about this, but it's like he is like because I've watched some I'm going through. I have the 15 disc Blu-ray Essential collection of his. That I got for Christmas a couple years ago, and I'm going through it with my daughters and wife. We're sitting every time I pick a movie, every second time, like every other time, I pick a Hitchcock movie, and then I got a 3-pack of Spellbound, Rebecca, and Notorious, which we've watched Notorious out of. There are some I just watched one called Saboteur. It's a well-made movie. It's not nearly his best work. It's it's clearly not nearly as good as some of his older stuff. But it's still a very well-made movie. But it's later in his career, especially with Psycho and North by Northwest and all that stuff, it's just the stuff he was able to do. It's just incredible. Like Rope, like I was talking about earlier.
Psycho for me. Psycho is just like, man, like you think about all modern day slasher films.
Yeah.
They say, people talk about, they started with Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween. It kind of started with Halloween. No, they didn't. They started with Psycho. Psycho is your first kind of like proper mainstream to the masses slasher film.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's still better than most modern day horror films.
It was one of the first films ever to kill off who you thought was the main character midway through the film.
Spoiler
if you haven't seen Psycho. Tough luck. You should have seen Psycho. But it's, for all three people watching and whoever might watch later, it literally Rear Window. There's another freaking awesome one.
North by Northwest.
Like he has his filmography is so awesome. So Dial M for Murder, I think it's highly underrated. I love that movie. But yeah, his impact on cinema is one of, like Lee's saying here, his personal list is different, right? Like, so
I was just going to pick up on that because like when I think about when I'm doing like a Mount Rushmore of directors, I'm thinking
best.
Yeah, I'm purely about best, about the impact they had on cinema. So that's why I say, if I look at the period of the time. So if I go back to like 20s, 30s, 40s, for me, the director that stands out in my mind is Frank Capra. If I go to the period just after that, then the guy who stands, the one that I think you would talk about is Alfred Hitchcock. And after Hitchcock, the one you're talking about is Spielberg. If you talk about modern day, I think Christopher Nolan is going to be on everyone's list.
Where's Kubrick in your list?
Kubrick is too cold, man. Too cold. I like Kubrick.
I think he's brilliant.
I see Kubrick as Nolan without the heart.
Yeah, kind of.
That's the best way I could describe. I'd love to see Nolan do a horror film.
Someone was saying him getting the next James Bond film, Nolan directing the next James Bond. I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, that'd be cool. But Inception kind of already had stuff like that.
It was heavily influenced by On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah. So,
but I just think if I was going favorites, because Luke says favorites, not necessarily who you would say is the best, but just like your personal favorites. Still, Nolan again would be my number one.
Yeah, Nolan would be in my favorites.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Maybe James Cameron, and I just think James Cameron makes event movies. It's like he's not done many movies, but when they come out, they're always talked about, and they're always an event. He does know how to entertain. I get excited by the prospect of a James Cameron film coming out. So, Clint Eastwood as well is one of my favorites. It's like when Clint Eastwood is on form.
Oh, he's great.
He gives us a film like Unforgiven. He gives us a film like Mystic River or $1 Million Baby or Gran Torino. What a film that is, man.
Or the Ivor Sanction. Sorry, that's that's my favorite Clint Eastwood movie, even though it's not his by any stretch a great one.
No way, that can't be.
I love that film. I don't know why.
Oh man, that's not one of my favorite Eastwood films.
No, I know it's weird, and I just love it. I don't know why. I just love it. But
like early on in his directing career, he had a whole string of really great films.
Yeah.
Like his first film, Play Misty for Me, that was like 20 years before Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
And it is Fatal Attraction, basically. His follow up to that, Breezy, that was a good one as well. He did, like his first few outings as a director were really, really good, solid work. High Plains Drifter. It's just like
Yeah.
He's overlooked, I think, as a director. And in recent years, he's made some that haven't quite been up to scratch. But in the last 20 years...
Gran Torino and stuff like that have.
Gran Torino was definitely up to scratch. That's one of my favourite movies, let alone one of my favourite Clint Eastwood movies. But yeah, just in the last 20, 25 years alone, you know, he's made Unforgiven, he's made Mystic River, he's made $1 Million Baby, he's made Gran Torino, he's made even films that maybe aren't quite to those standards, but are still really solid work, like Blood Work. The other one, what was the one about the guy in prison for a murder that he didn't commit?
True Crime.
True Crime was a really good film. So yeah, as far as favourites go, not necessarily Mount Rushmore material, but favourites, Clint Eastwood is definitely up there. He's really like his style, and I like his simplicity. He doesn't overcomplicate things. He's not about 20 takes and like 20 cuts in one scene. He shoots things really simply.
He's not afraid to make movies that don't have happy endings.
Yeah.
Mystic River, the Gran Torino. You know, he does making movies that aren't necessarily the best.
So just before we sign off,
we're going by
your favorites.
Hold on, it'll just take one. Favorites, if I'm doing just favorites, Nolan, Tarantino, probably Miyazaki. Spielberg would almost make the list, but I think what's his name? And my brain's frying. Guillermo del Toro. I just know. He would make. He's on my favorites list. He would make my favorites.
He would make.
I love what he does.
Yeah, I think he'd be in my top 10, top 15, top 10, top 10, 15 maybe.
I just think he's a phenomenal filmmaker. I love everything he does. Cool.
Okay, well, there you go. Just before I go, I'll just read the last comment out from Luke. I love Kubrick, think he's an amazing director, adore his films, but I don't usually go back to them that often or think of him immediately when it comes to the greats for some reason. Yeah, I do think I do think Nolan shares a lot of influences from Kubrick. I think he does have a very Kubrickian feel about him, but like I say,
but he has more heart.
He has more heart. Yeah, I go away from Nolan's films not just appreciating them as cinematic works of art, but also feeling something. I
just showed my daughters last week and a half ago. It was such a good time. Like,
sorry, mate, you cut out then. I didn't hear what film you said.
2 weeks ago, I showed my daughters did I zone out?
Go on, start again.
Just about 2 weeks ago, I showed my daughters Inception first time. And
mate, every time you get to the film, did you say Inception?
Inception.
Right. Thank you.
And man, it's just, watching them watch Inception was like seeing them figure it out and like all the layers and stuff and the ending top and stuff. And started debating, like, was he sleeping? Was he awake? It's like.
Right, so, Peter, I'm afraid that the connection's a little bit bad now, so I think this is probably a good time to go. But as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Anyone watching this video later, go and check out Peter's channel. It's one of my favorite guys on YouTube, one of my best friends on YouTube.
Thanks, Brian.
Just don't mention it, mate. I love you, and I love CP, and I love Lee. I just love having you guys on my channel any chance that I get. So Yeah, go check out his channel, go subscribe, get him to 500 subscribers because he's just past 400. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, especially if you've gotten this far. Sorry for any technical difficulties over the 2 videos we've done tonight. Hopefully that won't happen again, but you never know with YouTube. Thanks to Luke, who has joined us throughout this entire thing. Really great to have you, mate.
Also Dylan, who commented a bunch.
Yes, yeah, Dylan, he was with us for quite some time. Thanks, mate, for sticking with us.
And whoever found, we really love you a lot.
Yeah, for those people who click the dislike button, we love you regardless. You may not love us, but we love you. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.